Now this next one, it is dedicated to the fancy, the preparation. Because I remember reading all of these articles, poo-pooing Anand after he lost the championship crown to Carlsen. And it was pretty irritating to me because Anand is a legend of chess. And any of these guys who have spent their entire lives doing the serious work that is required to stay at the elite level, you play as long as you want to. I don't care what anyone says. Zero. So having these articles like retire, like, no, stop. This game came in 2013. Levon Aronian at the time had crossed the 2800 barrier, and Anand showed this bit of preparation and laid the smack directly down. Let's see it. So, the thing about this game, I mean, it starts with humble beginnings. From a nice aggressive opening that we've seen many a time. Take, b5, getting that tempo on the bishop. Bishop d6, nice flexible aggressive square for the b. And that's a good point to mention. It's like, I often have students ask, well, when do I know when to put this bishop on e7 or d6? And the same applies to white in the inverse. Typically, you want your bishop on e7 when it's breaking the pin if this bishop was on g5. Since that's not a possibility for either of these guys, since the bishops are entombed on their c-squares, you put the bishop on the more aggressive square, which is going to be pointing to where the king is going. So, have that little informational tidbit. Queen c2. We're finishing development. Bishop b7. And that's the thing. White has got the better center, but it's got the silly bishop. So we need to do something about that. White takes the time to play a3 here, and rook c8. Normally you see some preparation with like a6, then c5, but white decides to go fishing here. Knight g5. And already there are some ideas for black with this knight being loose. Like if we check in some variations, play knight g4, we can take the knight. c5 is played. And the first move that comes to mind is bishop takes h7. Whereas after f4, this could get really nasty, this type of line. But I feel that this was definitely within Anand's notes, and he was prepared for this position after c5. Knight takes h7 was played, though, and this is where it's going to get fun. Modern classic. Notice our bishops. Notice how everything is aggressively placed and pointing towards the white king. Let's continue the attack. Knight g4. Both bishops, the knight, and potentially the queen can all migrate over towards attacking the white king. So f4 tries to shut it down. And I feel like most people would give up, play rook e8, but this is prep. We've got a rook hanging, we've got a pawn hanging, in for a penny, in for a pound. C takes d4, aggressive. You can't move the knight to take the b pawn at least because of the pin, softening things up after e takes d4. Now, black to play, what do you do here? This next move, it gets to me. because black plays bishop c5. And the first thing you have to get is, well, why is this move good? Why can't I just take? Well, after knight takes, we're able to get this great piece harmony with our knights and queen. And as the dust is settling, black still has an attack going, is threatening b4, and white's pieces just aren't leaving their starting squares. So after bishop c5, white attempts to hold everything together and play bishop e2. And now this next move, because I remember the interview after this game. I just happened to be following Top Tournament, and I was like, yeah, only reason I spent time, I was trying to remember preparation. Like, so he had this position in his notes, and he was just, double checking things and remembering it, which is just stupid to me. But it's not surprising because I know at least at one point Anand had the fastest win over a grandmaster in tournament play and in long time controls. And he also, there's a famous game that he lost to Zapata out of the opening that he had memorized modern chess openings, and he was just following a line that was in there to make a draw, and it wasn't a draw, and he lost immediately. So he's known to have an exceptional memory when it comes to opening theory. So it's just an impressive thing overall. After bishop b2, knight d to e5. And it's just silly because we first have to ask, well, what if you can't do d e5, so I'm going to give you f e5. What happens if f takes e5? Well, we're going to have checkmate. That's what's going to happen. Queen takes d4, bishop e3, queen takes e3, and after king h1, we got ourselves the fancy queen g1, followed by knight f2 mate. So Aronian went with bishop takes g4. Let's keep the attack going. Bishop takes check. Knight takes g4. Finally opts to take the rook. We need to worry about queen h7, f5. Queen f6. I'll take the knight if you'll allow it. After queen e2, and it should be noted that's going to be problematic as not much of an option for white there with that checkmate. So queen e2, queen h5, and bishop e3 was the final move of the game with the monstrous threat that cannot be stopped if queen takes h3. So for instance, if bishop takes, and checkmate. You also have the option to take on g2 with checkmate, but this looks fancier. And this game makes the list because it shows the importance of preparation before the game. If you are not doing serious work on openings, and I believe Chessable is the best for that, what are you doing? You're wasting opportunities to win beautiful games like this. If it's in your notes, you have a good chance of remembering it if you studied it going into a key game. Absolutely beautiful game by the former world champion.